There's a Japanese farming method that turns garbage into vegetables in 48 hours. Not weeks, not months. 48 hours. No compost bin, no turning, no waiting for things to break down. You bury kitchen scraps directly in the soil. Cover them. Plant immediately above them. And 2 days later, the decomposition feeding your plants is so aggressive that you can literally feel the soil warming from microbial activity. The method is called Bokashi underground composting. And if that sounds too simple to be real, that's because a $200 composting bin industry has spent decades convincing you that composting requires equipment, time, and expertise. It doesn't. What it requires is understanding that waste isn't waste. Waste is food that hasn't met the right organisms yet. And those organisms, they're already in your garden soil. Waiting. Stay with me. Here's what the gardening industry taught you. Composting requires a bin, ideally an expensive tumbler or 3-chamber system. You need the right carbon-to-nitrogen ratio. Brown materials versus green materials. Calculated. Measured. You must turn it regularly. Aerate it. Monitor moisture. Check temperature. And then you wait. 3 to 6 months. Maybe longer. At the end, you get finished compost that you carry to your garden and mix into the soil. It's a system designed to feel complicated, because complicated sells equipment. But here's what actually happens in nature. The system that's been running for 400 million years without a single composting bin. Organic matter falls on soil. Microbes, fungi, and soil organisms consume it. Nutrients enter the soil. Plants grow. There is no separate composting area. There is no waiting period. The decomposition happens exactly where the plants are growing, in real time. And the method we're building today brings that natural system back to your garden. Here's what's actually happening when you bury organic material directly in garden soil. Within hours, the microbial population in the immediate area explodes. Bacteria that specialize in breaking down fresh organic matter, Pseudomonas, Bacillus, actinomycetes, begin consuming the buried material. As they eat, they generate heat. This is why you can feel warmth in the soil above buried scraps. It's metabolic activity. Life working. Within 48 hours, the structure of what you buried begins to change. Fruit breaks down fastest. Vegetables next. Fibrous materials take longer but are actively being colonized. Within 1 week, the original material is unrecognizable. It's becoming soil. And here's the part most people don't understand. Your plants don't need finished compost. They need nutrients being actively released by microbial decomposition. And when decomposition happens in the root zone, exactly where you buried the scraps, the nutrients go directly to the plants with zero transport required. You didn't compost and then feed your plants. You fed the soil organisms, and the soil organisms fed your plants. This is not a gardening technique. This is how soil has worked since plants first evolved roots. Let's build the system. No equipment required. Step 1. Choose your trench location. Between rows in your vegetable garden. Along the edge of a bed. Anywhere you're planning to plant within the next few weeks. You're digging a trench roughly 8 to 12 inches deep. Step 2. Fill the trench with kitchen scraps. Fruit and vegetable waste. Coffee grounds. Eggshells. The same materials you'd put in a traditional compost bin. Chop larger pieces smaller. Smaller surface area equals faster decomposition. Fill the trench about halfway. Don't overfill. You want enough soil to cover it completely. Step 3. Cover with soil. Use the soil you removed when digging. Bury the scraps completely. At least 4 to 6 inches of soil on top. This prevents pests from accessing the material and keeps the decomposition anaerobic at first, then aerobic as soil organisms colonize it. Step 4. Mark the location. Use a stick, a stone, a label, anything that reminds you where you buried material. Why? Because you're about to plant directly above it. Step 5. Wait 2 to 4 weeks, then plant. For aggressive decomposers like tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, you can plant after just 2 weeks. For more sensitive plants, wait 4 weeks. The buried material is decomposing. The microbial activity is intense. The nutrient release is continuous. And your plants will grow with a vigor you've never seen from bagged compost. This isn't just composting in place. You're creating what soil scientists call a nutrient hotspot, a localized zone of intense biological activity that acts as a slow-release fertilizer station for the entire growing season. As plant roots grow down and encounter the decomposing zone, they proliferate. Root density in compost-enriched soil can be 3 to 5 times higher than surrounding areas. More roots equals more nutrient uptake equals more growth. And because the decomposition is happening over weeks and months, the nutrient release matches the plant's growth cycle. Early in the season, rapid release as microbes colonize fresh material. Mid-season, steady release as decomposition continues. Late season, the remaining organic matter integrates into soil structure, improving it for next year. This is time-release fertilization. Biological. Self-regulating. Free. Traditional composting. You compost in one location, then transport finished compost to garden beds. Every transport step loses nutrients. Leaching. Volatilization. Handling. Underground composting. Decomposition happens in the root zone. Zero transport. Zero loss. Traditional composting requires turning, aeration, moisture management. Underground composting. Soil organisms do all the work. You bury and walk away. Traditional composting takes 3 to 6 months to produce finished product. Underground composting. Plants access nutrients within 2 to 4 weeks. Traditional composting requires purchasing or building a bin system. Underground composting requires a shovel you already own. The method that works better is also simpler and cheaper. That should tell you something about whose interests the complicated system serves. A $200 composting bin serves one purpose: separating you from the biological process that could be happening in your garden for free. It creates dependency. You need the bin. You need the activator powder. You need the temperature probe. But soil doesn't need any of that. Soil has been composting organic matter for 400 million years. Longer than flowering plants have existed. Longer than trees have existed. Longer than mammals, birds, or dinosaurs. The decomposition process is not fragile. It's not complicated. It's not conditional on having the right equipment. It's the most robust biological cycle on Earth. And the only thing required to activate it is contact between organic matter and soil. That's it. A shovel. A hole. Kitchen scraps. Soil. The system runs itself. First season, your plants in trenches with buried scraps will noticeably outperform plants in regular soil. Deeper green. Faster growth. Higher yields. Second season, the soil structure where you composted in-ground will be visibly different. Darker. More crumbly. Easier to dig. Alive. Third season, you'll stop buying compost entirely, because you'll understand that waste and food are the same thing, separated only by time and biology. And you'll know how to collapse that separation into weeks instead of months. A $0 system. A shovel you already own. Scraps you were throwing away. But what you're actually building is a new relationship with waste. In industrial systems, waste is a problem to be removed. In biological systems, waste is food waiting to enter the next cycle. Your kitchen scraps aren't garbage. They're tomorrow's tomatoes. Next month's squash. This season's beans. The nutrients didn't disappear. They're just changing form. And when you bury them where your plants are growing, you're not composting. You're feeding the soil that feeds the plants that feed you. The cycle was always there. You're just closing it.